A former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in a new interview with new allegations about wild parties and use.
He was responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life, so he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive use.
It's the kind of story that makes you stop scrolling, lean in, and think, wait, what did I just hear? Sean Diddy Combs, the legendary music mogul, has been at the center of scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal lately. But this one might just take the cake. The headlines are filled with explosive allegations from Diddy's former assistant, Philip Pines, who has come forward with jaw-dropping claims about what really went on behind closed doors during his time working for the multimillionaire icon. And if you thought you'd heard it all before about Diddy's wild parties and controversial lifestyle, buckle up, because this story is a wild ride.
This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. Something that I'll never forget, actually.
Pines, who worked for Diddy between 2019 and 2021, has been making waves with claims that paint a disturbing picture of life as part of the inner circle of one of the most powerful men in the music industry. In his recent testimony and interviews, Pines described an environment that was not only chaotic but downright bizarre. But the most shocking part, Pines alleges that Diddy forced him to do things no employer should ever demand of their staff. Things that go way beyond the job description of a personal assistant. And the name Steve Harvey somehow got dragged into this tangled web, leaving the internet in a frenzy of speculation.
You said he explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention who would participate as well?
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20, not underage, but certainly young women.
Let's rewind for a moment and set the stage. Pines, a man who initially idolized Diddy and saw the job as an opportunity to learn from one of the most influential figures in music, now claims his experience became a living nightmare. In a series of revelations that have stunned fans and critics alike, Pines detailed how Diddy allegedly pressured him into uncomfortable situations to prove his loyalty. According to Pines, loyalty wasn't just a word to Diddy. It was a test, a game, even a form of control. And these tests allegedly included situations that Pines says were humiliating, degrading, and deeply traumatic.
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
In one particular instance, Pines recounted a night that he says changed his life forever. It was during one of Diddy's infamous private gatherings, events that were reportedly as exclusive as they were unpredictable. Pines claimed he was summoned to Diddy's room, where the music mogul handed him a drink and told him to relax. What started as a seemingly casual moment quickly turned into something much darker. Pines alleged that Diddy began making strange demands, and before he could process what was happening, he was allegedly pushed into a situation that left him both stunned and terrified. The former assistant described the moment with chilling detail. "I remember hearing the words, 'Prove your loyalty to me, your king,'" Pines said in a tearful interview. He claimed Diddy handed him a certain item, physically pushed him toward a female guest, and insisted he perform in front of others. Pines went on to explain that while the woman involved gave her permission, the entire situation felt orchestrated, manipulative, and deeply unsettling.
He is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it is scary because you think, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your career.
But here's where things take an even stranger turn. Pines alleges that these encounters were often recorded without the participants' knowledge or consent. And the reason? According to Pines, Diddy kept these recordings as leverage, a way to ensure the loyalty of those around him and to silence anyone who might think of speaking out. He had a way of making you feel like you owed him everything, Pines explained. You were constantly reminded that you were replaceable, and if you stepped out of line, there would be consequences.
If you say the wrong thing or you complain or I don't know, there's an element where you're just, I guess, manipulated in a way to make you feel like, oh, you have to please everyone around you. You can't say anything wrong. You don't want to say a bad thing. Or, when they're constantly asking, would you like to do drugs? You're like, well, I don't do drugs. And they're like, well, why don't you?
Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Steve Harvey. How does the beloved host of Family Feud and one of the most recognizable faces in entertainment factor into all of this? Well, Pines dropped a bombshell that left everyone reeling. He alleged that during his time working for Diddy, he witnessed a bizarre and unsettling encounter involving Steve Harvey himself. According to Pines, Diddy allegedly orchestrated a situation where he pressured Pines into an intimate encounter with Harvey, claiming it was all part of a twisted loyalty test. The rumors swirling around this claim have sparked endless speculation, with some suggesting that this alleged incident might even have been recorded.
I don't know the consequences of what that could have been. So I didn't really talk about it. I should have gone to the police. I should have said something other than to my agent. I'm just thankful that there was somebody there. There was somebody at that party who helped me, because I could have ended up in a really bad situation.
The very idea of Steve Harvey being implicated in such a scandal has sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Harvey, known for his clean-cut image and motivational speeches, has not commented on these allegations, leaving fans and critics alike to wonder what, if anything, might come of this story. Is it possible that Harvey was an unwitting participant in Diddy's alleged schemes? Or could this all be part of a sensationalized narrative designed to grab headlines? The lack of clarity only adds to the mystery, and the internet has been buzzing with theories.
Allegedly, these events to invite them back to these private mansion parties and hotel parties and God knows what else. But he was utilizing the branded events to be able to, get the girls to come over to his private spaces. Allegedly.
Pines' claims don't stop at Steve Harvey, though. He alleged that Diddy's so-called loyalty tests extended to other members of his staff and even to some of his celebrity friends. The former assistant described a pattern of behavior that he says was designed to humiliate and control those around Diddy, making them feel indebted to him and ensuring their silence. Pines claimed that Diddy's obsession with loyalty often blurred the lines between personal and professional boundaries, creating an environment where anything and anyone could be used as a pawn. One of the most disturbing aspects of Pines' revelations is the alleged existence of recordings that Diddy reportedly kept as a form of insurance. These tapes, Pines claimed, were not only a way to keep people under his thumb, but also a way to protect himself from potential fallout. And this is where things get even murkier. Rumors have been circulating about a so-called bidding war for these recordings, with whispers that some of Hollywood's biggest names might be implicated. Could these tapes hold the key to understanding the full extent of Diddy's alleged behavior? Or are they simply a figment of the rumor mill, exaggerated for dramatic effect?
Look at Diddy, for instance. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at him. Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at, he has videos. He has videos of the parties. Now, what I've heard, which I don't know how much of it is in mainstream media, I don't really follow the story that much, but what I've heard from friends that are attorneys, friends of mine that have represented me before, agents and so on, is there's a bidding war going on right now.
What's clear is that the public's fascination with this story shows no signs of fading. Social media has been ablaze with opinions, memes, and questions as people try to piece together the puzzle. Some have expressed sympathy for Pines, commending him for his courage in speaking out. Others have been more skeptical, questioning the timing of his allegations and wondering what might have motivated him to come forward now. And then there are those who are focused squarely on the bigger picture, asking what these revelations might mean for Diddy's career and reputation. It's worth noting that Diddy has denied all allegations against him, with his legal team insisting that any claims of wrongdoing are baseless. In a statement, his representative said no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never acted inappropriately or engaged in any of the behavior being alleged. We look forward to proving the truth in court. But despite these denials, the sheer volume of accusations and the high-profile nature of the people allegedly involved have made it impossible for Diddy to escape the spotlight.
To not be involved, a famous singer, to not come out, here's the price. And that they're just selling to the individuals that are in those, this is what I heard, they're selling those videos. So if you're Tommy X, and Tommy X is a big, big movie star, and he was at some of the Diddy parties, he was in one of those bedrooms with 3 other men, and he's happily married to a woman, and blah. Tommy doesn't want that video to come out.
As Pine's story continues to unfold, it raises more questions than answers. What really went on behind the closed doors of Diddy's world? How deep do these alleged schemes run? And who else might be implicated? And perhaps, most intriguingly, what will it take for the truth to come out? One thing is certain, this story is far from over, and as more details emerge, the world will be watching closely, and with whispers of connections to some of Hollywood's most powerful figures, including Steve Harvey, the stakes couldn't be higher. As the narrative shifts to explore the broader web of connections between Diddy, the Harveys, and their respective circles, it becomes clear that this is more than just a story about one man's alleged misdeed. It's a glimpse into a world where power, fame, and loyalty collide in ways that are as fascinating as they are unsettling. What secrets might still be hidden in the shadows? Stay tuned because this saga is only just beginning.
Surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee. He has a civil background.
It's hard to believe how tangled and messy this whole situation has become, right? But just wait. If you thought the allegations from Diddy's former assistant were shocking, the connections between Scene Diddy Combs and Steve Harvey's family take things to an entirely different level. This isn't just some isolated story about power, loyalty, and control. It's a glimpse into a web of relationships that are as complicated as they are controversial. And trust us, the deeper you dig, the stranger it gets.
I agree. And the risk of flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more evidence.
Let's start by peeling back the layers of the relationship between Diddy and Steve Harvey. On the surface, it might seem like 2 powerful men in the entertainment industry who occasionally cross paths at high-profile events. But behind the scenes, their connection runs much deeper. For years, Diddy and Steve have been part of the same social circles, attending the same parties, sharing stages, and mingling with the same A-listers. The 2 men seem to respect each other publicly, but what's really going on behind closed doors? That's the question everyone's asking now.
Well, Combs is separated from the general population, right? He's with, or was with Sam Bankman-Fried at least, and the irony there is that's someone who was granted bail, tried to tamper with witnesses, so the judge revoked his bail. So that just goes to show how these federal judges feel about witness tampering before trial.
The first major connection that threw people for a loop was Diddy's rumored relationship with Steve Harvey's stepdaughter, Lori Harvey. Back in 2019, the 2 were spotted together multiple times, fueling endless speculation about whether they were romantically involved. And it wasn't just casual dinners or public appearances. These were full-blown international outings. They were seen vacationing in Italy with Steve and Marjorie Harvey, dining together as if everything was perfectly normal. Yes, you heard that right. Diddy was allegedly dating Lori while hanging out with her parents. Let that sink in for a second.
I'll tell you, I don't know how much, I don't like to say things that I know unless I see it. That there's a little difference, you know. But was it discussed? Was there descriptions from people I know that were at those? Yes, but here's another thing. So how many of these big entertainment parties and over the years and everything with as successful as you are, have you been around? Does anyone ever come up to you at a certain hour and say, okay, it's time to go? At those parties, they did.
The rumors didn't stop there. People couldn't help but point out the bizarre twist that Lori had reportedly been connected to Diddy's son, Justin Combs, before she was linked to Diddy himself. Talk about awkward. Lori eventually denied the whole father and son narrative, calling it completely false. But even so, the speculation was enough to make anyone cringe. And while neither Diddy nor Lori ever officially confirmed their relationship, the photos of them together, matching outfits and all, pretty much spoke for themselves. It was a whirlwind of gossip and drama, with fans questioning how Steve Harvey felt about the whole situation. Was he cool with it? Did he even have a say?
Diddy and Lori Harvey, they're heating things up in Italy.
Notice her arm is on the back of his chair.
Shocking!
Fast forward to now, and these connections are being reevaluated in light of the recent allegations against Diddy. Hines' claims about Diddy's manipulative behavior and the supposed recordings have people wondering if there's more to the story. Was Lori just another pawn in Diddy's world? Did Steve Harvey know about Diddy's alleged behind-the-scenes antics? The lack of public statements from the Harvey family has only fueled the speculation. Some fans believe Steve has stayed quiet to avoid drawing more attention to the situation, while others think he might have known more than he let on. After all, Steve has always been fiercely protective of his family. So why wasn't he more vocal during the height of the Lori Diddy rumors? And then there's Marjorie Harvey, Steve's wife, whose past has been the subject of scrutiny for years. Before her marriage to Steve, Marjorie was reportedly linked to 2 individuals with ties to illegal activities. Her first husband, Jim Townsend, was convicted of attempting to purchase a large quantity of an illegal substance and ended up serving over 2 decades in prison. Marjorie was allegedly investigated at the time, but managed to avoid charges. After her divorce from Townsend, she was later linked to another individual, Donald Woods, who also had a similar reputation. These past connections have made people question whether Marjorie's history somehow intersects with the more recent allegations surrounding Diddy. Could there be a link between her past and the world Diddy allegedly created?
It's like haters. When you get haters, you know, people's opinion of you is none of your business. I have lots of haters.
The speculation doesn't stop there. Some insiders have pointed to the extravagant parties Diddy is known for hosting, the ones Pines referred to as Wild King Nights, and wondered if Steve or Marjorie ever attended these events. Both Diddy and the Harveys are known for their love of the high life, so it wouldn't be surprising if they crossed paths at some of these exclusive gatherings. But what really went on at these parties? Pines described them as over the top with a level of excess that bordered on surreal. Guests reportedly had to follow strict rules, surrendering their phones and adhering to Diddy's every command. Those who didn't comply risked being ostracized or worse. If the Harveys were ever in attendance, were they aware of the darker side of these events? Or were they simply there as part of the broader celebrity scene, unaware of what might have been happening behind the scenes? One of the most unsettling aspects of this whole saga is the alleged use of recordings as leverage. Pines claimed that Diddy kept video evidence of the wild activities that took place at his events, and rumors have swirled that some of these recordings might involve high-profile individuals. While no specific names have been confirmed, this has only added to the intrigue surrounding Diddy's connection to the Harveys. Could Steve, Marjorie, or even Lori have been caught on camera at one of these gatherings? And if so, what might those recordings reveal? The possibility alone has sent the rumor mill into overdrive, with fans and critics alike trying to piece together the puzzle. What makes these connections even more complicated is the public image that Steve Harvey has carefully cultivated over the years. Known for his motivational speeches, family-focused content, and comedic charm, Steve is seen by many as a role model. He's built an empire on the idea of hard work, faith, and integrity. But could his ties to Diddy tarnish that image? Some fans have already started questioning whether Steve's silence on the matter is a sign that he's trying to protect himself or his family from further scrutiny. Others argue that Steve might genuinely have no knowledge of Diddy's alleged activities and is simply staying out of the drama. Either way, the situation has cast a shadow over the Harvey brand, leaving many to wonder how or if they'll address it publicly. As for Diddy, his world seems to be unraveling at an alarming pace. The accusations from Pines and others have opened Pandora's box, revealing a side of the music mogul that few could have imagined. And while Diddy has denied all allegations, the sheer volume of claims against him has made it impossible to dismiss the situation as mere gossip. The fact that his connections to the Harveys are now being scrutinized only adds to the complexity of the case. Whether or not Steve, Marjorie, or Lori were directly involved in Diddy's alleged schemes, their association with him has undoubtedly raised eyebrows.
Do you think LeBron James is the only one that has an interest in whether his career is destroyed? No, Nike has an interest. No, certain apparel companies have interests. No, many other people that are involved in huge businesses that are part owners of giant conglomerate companies have an interest in that. So Shaquille O'Neal owns most of JCPenney's. But you're talking about companies that if it comes out, so they might be the one that says they'd pay $25 million for that.
So where does that leave us? The connections between Diddy and the Harveys are murky at best, and the lack of clear answers has only fueled more questions. Were they simply acquaintances caught up in the whirlwind of celebrity culture? Or is there more to their relationship than meets the eye? As the allegations against Diddy continue to unfold, it's likely that the Harveys will face increased scrutiny as well. Fans are eager for answers, but for now, all they can do is speculate.
But it just seems very suspicious when you go through and you look at in the history of different people that can make you go away if listen, I've worried about some of the things that I talk about on my show.
What's clear is that this story is far from over. The allegations against Diddy have already shaken the entertainment world, and the ripple effects are only just beginning. Whether through new revelations, legal proceedings, or public statements, the truth will eventually come out. And when it does, it could have far-reaching consequences not just for Diddy, but for everyone connected to him, including the Harveys. Until then, all eyes are on this tangled web of relationships, waiting to see what comes next. As this story continues to unfold, we can't help but wonder, could there be more to Steve Harvey's involvement than meets the eye? And what about the alleged recordings? Who else might be implicated? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more celebrity news and updates. Until next time, stay curious.